Hello, everybody. Um, Trying to think, what day is this? This is January 14th, 2021. I'm just taking a walk in the neighborhood park. And gosh, I feel so heavy-hearted these days, but also optimistic. I'm like of two minds all of the time, and I don't even know how to start sharing what I see, because for me, what I want to share is very apparent, it's obvious, it's in my face, it's like, it's just so plain, it's plain as day. And what I see, many people that I love and care about just don't see. And I've been trying to communicate it, and it's like the reaction is like often intense, like anger or I don't know, like they think I'm a nut or how dare I. So anyway, this is what I want to say. I saw it, I was at the Capitol. I've got videos and photographs, but my instincts are telling me right now not to share them. And I follow my instincts, so I'm not going to share them, but I can describe what I saw and what I thought about it. And in this day and age, where there's so little trust between people, I can do like the government or I can do like the media and just deny. I can just deny it, because it's like if there's no like hard evidence in terms of like photographs and videos and stuff like that and documents, I can deny. The media does it. Why don't I? So anyway, there is a war on our food supply. For the past several months, every now and again I've like written about it or I've shared an article, but there's been a war on our food supply, but it just got ramped up by, I would say, a factor of 1,000 on January 6th. And to justify that war on our food supply and to, trick us, or whatever you call it, and I've written also, like, there's some people who's just like, they're so angry with me, like they can't believe I see the world the way that I believe, because the media told them what the world is like. And so, who the hell are you? You must be out of your mind. Anyway, the war on our food supply just got ramped up by a factor of 1,000. And because I'd say a good maybe 85% of the people at the rally were mostly like small farmers, ranchers, business people, mostly live in mid-America, and they basically provide our food for us. They grow it, they raise it, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, it was so obvious to me that it was a staged event, because I was there, I was with the people, I was talking with people, I was asking them questions, and, basically their concern was for how the government has been treating them around coronavirus, and basically making it almost impossible to grow food. And basically the government has been systematically, systematically and slowly, bankrupting them, taxing them out of business, giving them more and more regulations to live by, and basically squeezing them out. Now, if you look at what happened in the framework of history, like what happened with communist China and the propaganda campaign against the landowners and the farmers. It happened in Cuba. It happened in Russia. These pogroms basically like wiped out large swaths of you know, it's like the growing population and disenfranchised people of their land. It's happening right now. And I had written about it before, where I talked about this, you know, January 6th event at the Capitol, how it was staged, it was a setup to further divide the nation. It was a setup to just increase the fear and the hatred of Middle America even more. And I see many people bought it. And there are people who just cannot believe that Trump and his supporters are not racists. Now, every population has got racists or crazy people and psychopaths. You know, here in America, we've got our black separatist groups and militia. Like there's one, it's called the NFAC, Not Fucking Around Coalition, and it's a black militia. And there are all sorts of groups in Black America who are separatists. Some are militant, some are, you know, like, what do you call it? They just want to be left alone and live the way that they want to live, and they don't want, you know, government intervention. And they're peaceful. And then there are those who are itching for a war in Black America. And the same in white America, the same in Hispanic America. I don't quite know about like Asia America. I don't quite know, but I know in Hispanic America, you've got the La Raza. I know a little bit about it. Anyway, I saw an event that was coordinated, and like I said before, I just feel like 99.99% of the people there, peaceful. They're peacefully protesting. It was number 400 and something Trump rally that was peaceful. I think most people expected it to be another Trump rally, just a really, really big one, and the one to send a specific message, to come out in numbers and show the world how much support Trump is. And Ted Cruz was supposed to, at that joint session of Congress in the chamber, the plan was that he was going to show the election fraud evidence that the Supreme Court refused to even look at. It's not even like they're like, we don't even want to look at it. Because the fact of the matter is, this government, for a long time, slowly over decades, has been bought out by foreign governments. And it's been bought out because there are elected and non-elected officials in the United States government who have basically sold this country out piece by piece. And that's just a fact. People on the left and the right. Now, we're told that Donald Trump is a Republican. And yeah, he's a Republican now, but he's been a Republican, he's been a Democrat. I believe, I'm not quite sure, I think he's been an independent, and I'm not sure if he's been a libertarian too, but he's been all over the map. So for those of you who hate Donald Trump because he's a Republican right now, just so you know, he was in your party too once upon a time. This issue is not a partisan issue, right? Government fraud is a bipartisan issue because, you know, people be people, and people be greedy sometimes. And when they're in positions of power where they believe that they can like keep making backdoor deals and selling out their country, and personally benefiting, they'll do it. I mean, it's human nature. We have to just come to grips with that. Anyway, so I witnessed a stage event that cost 5 lives. Now, compare what I saw with what we saw happen over the past 4 years. There were certain rallies that turned into, riots that did billions of dollars of, property damage, and people lost their businesses. 34 lives were lost with violence, and at the Capitol, 5 people died. 2 of them I witnessed die, or I think they were already dead, but they were getting CPR right in front of me. They had like one guy, they say, had a seizure and he fell off a wall, and head injury killed him. And then another guy fell off a wall and he'd had a heart attack. So 2 people, medical conditions. A police officer committed suicide. Another police officer was hit in the back of the head with a fire hydrant, and I'm quite certain that guy wasn't trying to kill him. I think he was just trying to stop him and get him out of the way, but he killed him. And then there was the woman who was shot by the officer. So 5 people. One death was by a firearm. One death was by a really hard hit to the back of the head, not a firearm involved. 2 deaths were medical conditions, and 1 death was a suicide. Anyhow, back to the war that's on us. Our country has been subverted. I know that China is involved. The Chinese Communist Party has owned this country for a very long time. And if you don't care, just take a look at how they treat their own citizens. Many Chinese people have been fighting to be free from them for a very, very long time. I saw many Chinese people there who had their cars with these big banners on them, stop the demon CCP. They were handing out information and about the atrocities that are being committed on the Chinese people by the government. And they're just trying to say, hey, Americans, what's being done to you has been done to us already, and you need to understand it so that you can protect yourselves, because the United States is basically the only, well, I think up until January 6th, like the only free country left. And we have fallen. I personally am not particularly emotional about anything. I find that when we get really, really emotional, we tend to make poor choices and then also hurt people in the process. I see so many people being hurt over this, relationships being broken up, families splitting up. And when I look at the media and how it depicts middle America, and I've had conversations with people, it's as if they are, like subhuman. And I'm like, well, didn't the media treat my people that way for a very long time? And that's why for months I'd been making, videos and writing about artificial intelligence and algorithms, and how it's important not to believe the media and to get out there and meet people face to face and find out who they are, how do they make a living? What do they think about what's going on in the world? What are their values? And get to know them one-on-one as human beings, and not as these stereotypes that the media wants us to believe they are. I personally don't have any problems. I mean, I walk around, I see people, we greet each other. If you think back on the Bolshevik Revolution, the Bolsheviks in Russia. Um, they attacked the farmers, and there was this big famine. I think it was in China. They were called the Red Guard or something like that. Same thing. They're the Chinese Youth League, Communist Youth League, or something. But they were indoctrinated to hate the farmers. Anyway, China had a famine, and I see that coming here in the U.S. Like already, I had been saying that we're going into some massive, major food shortages, but it's far worse now, because now people who farm or who typically support Trump because Trump supported them and did everything that he could do to help them be successful, now they are terrorists. I mean, please, people, we need to learn history. We have to. This is my little shot in the dark. This is, you know, I don't even know why I care. I'm like, why the hell do I even care? I don't know why I care. I wish I didn't care. I wish I could just, you know, go along with everybody else and just simply believe. I mean, I wish I could believe that a whole group of people had this belief system that they don't have, right? Like, I wish I could believe, and then I would have more friends, and I would just kind of like go with the flow with everybody, and we'd all have a common enemy, and I'd know who to hate, and I'd know who to vilify, and I would just keep passing on, you know, what these unelected people, these unelected officials who look nice and their hair is done and they wear the right clothes and they have a megaphone and they sit up there. I mean, gee, it would be so much easier, but I care because I don't want people to suffer. I mean, we're already suffering under these coronavirus lockdowns. I have another video to make about the impact of the lockdowns on the elderly people and how the lockdowns have actually accelerated their deaths and suffering, and how many died in isolation alone. And this all has to do with government policy, and we're good, you know, everybody, like each person can say, oh no, I was just following orders, right? We follow orders and we don't think. And then we're complicit in other people's death and suffering. But each one of us individually can say, but I was just doing my job, right? But this is what happens in a society where everything is, you know, compartmentalized, and each one of us is labeled, and our value is, you know, I don't even know where to begin. But yeah, we're in trouble, people. You know, there's an assault on the farmers, and it's justified by saying that they are, you know, white supremacists and they're terrorists and all of that. And I really deeply, I mean, I truly believe that the event was orchestrated by a few people, not many. People got caught up and emotional. For about 3 hours, I saw that, you know, there was a whole bunch of palafala trying to ramp people up and get a two-way gunfight going, and nothing really happened until that woman was killed in the Capitol. This is just so sad, you know, but then also we have an opportunity to wake up to who we are as individuals. Each one of us is here for a purpose and a reason, and you know, I think that when we know our reason for being here and our purpose, and we're passionate about what we're doing in our lives, then a lot of the noise falls away. We don't get so caught up in it, and we feel safe and secure because we're doing what we should be, and then we can be more open to learn from other people. But yeah, what do you call it? Like, maybe I need to just go make a painting or something like that, because I've been thinking a lot about the contrast between what I experienced and what the media is reporting. And there's some people who are very upset with me because it's sort of like I'm busting up their paradigm. I have observed over the years that, like, anti-racism seems to be another cult. Like, there's this new cults that are springing up. And, you know, if you're white especially, it's very important to demonstrate in as many ways as possible that you are anti-racist. So if you dare to entertain the idea that MAGA people are not all racist, then you are a bad person. You are immoral, because the new morality is proving that you're anti-racist. But hold on just a second. Yeah? You fell? A bird pooped on your leg? Is that water from there? Oh, okay. Well, when we get home, it's fine. It'll be good. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's not gonna kill you. I will. Where was I? So yeah, so it's like it's a moral issue to, if you're white and you're on the left, you are immoral if you dare to consider that maybe white people on the right are not racists. And you know, and like I said before, every group of people has got their people who are racist or bigoted or prejudiced or whatever. Because we're all human beings. I mean, we all have the same nature. What is this over here? Oh, I like these better. But things are going to get a lot worse than they have been already. And yeah, I talked to these men over there at the rally, and they're like, yeah, this is our last chance to get our voices heard. There's nobody there, you know, there's no animosity. Oh, and this is the other thing. This is so crazy. Like, think about it, guys. Think. Like, remember, there's this guy with the horns, the horn hat guy, right? He was at a BLM rally. People are saying that he's a MAGA supporter. I wouldn't be surprised if he's hired by the government, some sort of psychopath who is willing to do whatever. People are passing his photograph around, and he's caused even more controversy for himself and more attention because he's in jail, but he'll only eat organic. He will only eat organic food. This is so crazy. Like, there's so much I saw. Like, there's this, so I made a mistake. At first I said I saw only one Confederate flag. I actually saw two. So I saw the one massive Confederate flag that made it into the Capitol. Now, how did that flag make it into the Capitol? And then there was another Confederate flag on a pole with an American flag. That's all I saw. That was it. That was it. I took a lot of footage and video. I didn't see anything other than that. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, WTF? You know what I mean? But like, I understand conservative thought. I understand liberal thought. I know how everybody thinks, and it's only because I listen with the same intensity to everybody and every political point of view. So conservatives are like for free speech, right? And they tend to be more like, I agree to disagree. So what am I going to do if you bring a Confederate flag? You know, it's sort of like live and let live. I have no right to control your life. And Democrats tend to be more pro shut down free speech, like, oh, this person is dangerous and you know, we need to shut them down, or we need to re-educate them, or whatever. So because there were a couple of Confederate flags there does not mean that people agree with them. And there is this Facebook post that's been making its round, and people are saying, look at who's around you. If there's a Nazi to the left and a Nazi to the right, and blah 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 blah, then you know. And in a sense, that's right, but it's not applicable at all to January 6th, because I didn't see Nazis to my left and right. I saw regular American people, small business owners, farmers and ranchers, people who make their money independently and who have been under assault by the government. And guys, I'm telling you, to a certain extent, we can do without certain things, right? Like, say, for example, if there is a library full of books, I mean, short term you can do without. Yeah, no, let me give another example. If there is a garage full of junk that has been accumulating over years, and you'll probably never use it again, but you're just kind of like, for sentimental reasons, holding on to it, and that garage burns down, there really isn't a loss to you, right? But we have to think about this, people. If the food supply is destroyed, if farmers are not able to plant, they're not able to sow, they're not able to grow, they're not able to weed, they're not able to harvest, if the animals that they raise, they're forced to slaughter, right? If they're forced to plow produce into the ground, then we all have a problem. And warfare is not just, you know, guns and mortar and bombs and stuff like that. The vast majority of warfare is bringing a population to their knees by depriving them of their food. And so I consider this media campaign against people on the right to basically be an assault on all of us. We don't have to believe that they're racist. I mean, look at even, let's just, you know, there's a saying, as above, so below. 1988, Trump helped Jesse Jackson campaign for the presidency. And Jesse Jackson was so thankful for all the support on every level that Trump gave him. And over the decades, Trump has done many things for the black community. He's not a racist. Not at all. Never has been. Anyway, but there is this thing called editing. There's this thing called editorializing. There's this thing called curating content to tell a specific story. Now, all of a sudden, overnight, Trump is Hitler, right? And we believe it because most of us, we have, you know, short-term memory, or, I mean, there are all sorts of things that we can say about how our brains work when it comes to memory and perception of reality. I think you get where I'm going. And we're in so much trouble. Like, I know, I'm kind of laughing, like I'm laughing not to cry. There are people who will look at this and their response will be LOL, right? They'll think it's ridiculous, they'll think it's funny, but they're not looking at what we're going through from a global perspective. They're not looking at what we're going through from a geopolitical perspective. January 6th, the Chinese Communist Party was celebrating because they said, now we got them, We own America. Nobody is going to stop us from doing what we've been doing to Taiwan and Hong Kong. Who's going to stop us now? You know? And Americans are divided against each other on every single level. There's this man I had, I need to post the long interview. I posted a clip about it. He lives in West Tennessee. His name is Barrett Leslie. He trains people in gun safety and stuff like using guns. We had this really good discussion about what would the possibilities be if the government just left us alone and the media just left us alone, and the media stopped spinning these stories that divide us racially and divide us socioeconomically and all of that. Like, if we just naturally became friends and our friendships and our groups were based on mutual interests and passions, then like we'd be such a threat. I mean, even without trying, we're already a threat to these like big, these technocrats. It was just a few decades ago that, you know, Bezos and Zuckerberg and Gates harness this technology to, you know, build up these massive companies that are now more powerful than the government. They're more powerful than the government of the United States. I mean, think about that. And the technology that we have now is 1,000,000 times more powerful than what they had then. So we have the power to disrupt them so easily. Like, there's so many reasons to keep us hating each other. Because if we don't hate each other, we're just naturally gonna innovate. We're naturally gonna share open source. We're gonna share ideas. We're gonna invent. We're gonna iterate. We're gonna. I mean, this is an amazing time to be alive. But we have to keep all of this in mind, you know. I have Republican friends who, for like a couple of decades, didn't even tell me they were, because they wanted to keep my friendship, and, you know, they didn't know if I would accept them anymore because their politics. It's really sad. And the same thing is happening on the other end. You know, there are many people who voted for Trump, and there are many people who are Republicans, but they would never tell their community because they'd be out of a job, you know. This happened in Russia, happened in Nazi Germany. It's happening to us now. And what's sad is people don't even know the definition of fascism. You know, it's like we just have to hit the history books and talk to people and get to know them. You know what our purpose in life is and go after it. There's so much potential. Anyway, it's really scary where we're heading. And this is my little shot in the dark. And I hope it lands on somebody and starts people thinking a little bit. There's a war on our food supply, guys. And they're justifying it with hatred of the farmers. And they're justifying it by vilifying and dehumanizing them, you know. And it's been done to my people for centuries. So, you know, we can learn. I hope we do before it's too late. Bye.